All right. So then let's get rolling. It's 10:01. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for being here today and hopping on our webinar. I want to introduce everybody to Clay, Byrne and Leslie Estes. They're from the Byrne Real Estate Group in Austin, Texas. Clay and I met in January, actually, at a marketing seminar in Las Vegas. It was a really intimate setting. There's about 40 of us in a room with a coach that we both used. And it was just a really cool event at this guy's house. And so we just hit it off, and we both got similar approaches to real estate, but also separate focuses, I would say, on the things that really work for us. And when Faye was telling me about their open house strategy, I was like, man, this is killer. We got to talk about this. So I wanted to bring them on so that we could find out a little bit more about this open house strategy that Clay was telling me the story.
So I did an open house in Lakeway one time, and this couple came out from in-town Austin and looked around, and I got their information. I followed up with them, no kidding, for 7 years. 7 years. And finally, they still live in the same house. They never moved, but they referred Mrs. Scheffelbein across the street to me. And this is it was a $600,000 house at the time in a high demand area. And so I listed her house for sale. I did open houses there, and I met a couple that was looking for a house in that neighborhood. But the one I was in, I had just sold. So I had to go find them a house. I had to sell a house near a hospital and further in central Austin. So I had to sell that one. And that was the Friesenhans. And then in that one, I met the Cunninghams. And this is where I learned the line, who's helping you, who's guiding you through the process. I'll never forget it. I was sitting on the counter in the kitchen, and they're walking through this older couple. And I was like, who's guiding you through this process? And he looked at me like, man, no one's ever asked me that question before. So we hit it off, and they ended up selling a house in a different part of central Austin and buying another house further north from the one that we were sitting in. And then I got a listing from one. So it ended up being like 8 transactions from one open house, but I had to follow up with the person for 7 years before that triggered.
Wow. That is the long game right there.
That's the long game, right? So so you learn your system and then this system, and you put them together. And then next thing you know, you have years where you make more money than you know what to do with.
Yeah.
You figure out what to do with it later. So that was, but this is this system that we're going to show you all today. It evolved over time, and including some of the scripts and some of the extra things that you can do. And now we're seeing our agents are getting more people in their open houses. They're getting more lead signups and setting appointments after the open house than I've ever seen before. So I'm excited to show it to you.
Awesome.
And actually, Leslie is I was going to call her the executioner, but she's the one that makes sure these things get executed at a high level. So she's going to explain it.
Awesome. Okay, Leslie, why don't you just take over and dive right in, and then I'll probably ask you some questions as we go through this too.
No, absolutely. So I
was going to talk about this actually. So this is, and then I'll be quiet. What we talk about with agents and in training is once you decide to go into real estate, you're your own business. And in America, we call it's part of the American dream, right? Owning your own business. And you have to decide, what are the standards that you're going to set for yourself? And how do you want people to perceive you as a business person and as a guide for their journey? And so, I jokingly call it like, you're in Leslie Estes Inc. You're in Ken Regal Inc. Like, you are your own business. You represent your own standard. You represent everything that you stand for as a professional practitioner. That needs to translate into how you do your open houses and how seriously you take them. You commit. If you do it right, you're going to commit a lot of time to doing it the right way. So you might as well make it. I used to say, you want to be able to see it from space. Like, everyone needs to know that you're hosting an open house, because buyers and sellers are coming through there interviewing. They may not know they're interviewing, but they're interviewing agents, like, for the job of guiding them through the process. And so that's a construct that we have around it. I encourage you, if you do open houses, you can take it to the next level, and you can dominate a neighborhood in 2 months. You can literally just take over anywhere you want to go if you commit to the full process. The little QR code there is not for the material. We'll send that out for free. But if you want to join a mastermind, or we offer discovery calls for one-on-one coaching, there's just a little questionnaire that you can fill out, and you'll see it throughout this process as we get going through here. All right. That's you, Inc.
All right. Thank you, guys. So this open house process, we have utilized this with a ton of different agents from all over the place. This open house system has worked over and over and over again. We keep track of how many people come into the open houses, how many leads we get, and ultimately how many appointments get set off of it. It doesn't start the day of or the day before, which is the way that most agents do open houses, right? You stick it on the MLS on Thursday, and then on Saturday morning, you're doing an open house. Our open house system actually starts on Monday. So on Monday, you're making a decision on what open house you're going to be doing the following weekend. So you're selecting property, you're locking in at least a 3-hour window. Where we're at, Saturdays from 1 to 4 are the best times to Clay can tell you he's done a ton of open houses. I did a lot of open houses. 1 to 4 is your best window to have the maximum number of people come into your open house. Longer is better. We have had agents hold open houses for 6 hours, 8 hours. That's a fantastic way to, you obviously are in the service business. You don't have a front door somewhere, but you can make someone else's front door yours, right? So putting your signs up everywhere, showing everybody that you're open for business, notifying your admin, making sure that it's in the MLS really early in the week, and then starting your social media. So the teaser, posting a coming soon story or reel on Instagram, maybe not even saying what the address is or a picture of the open house, but letting all of your audience know that, hey, this is coming up. Be on the lookout. Later this week, I'm going to be posting where I'm going to be this weekend. And then mindset, I think Clay was going to speak to this a little bit, but committing to your schedule and knowing exactly what your weekend's going to look like. You're going to have, the reason a lot of that I hear a lot of agents back away from scheduling things on Monday is because they might have showings this weekend, right? And so the might have wins, and then you end up not having anything going on over the weekend. As a professional, you need to have a schedule down and know exactly when you can show people and when your open house is. So if you're doing an open house from 1 to 4, you can show houses between 9 and noon. You can show houses after 4 o'clock, or schedule another day that you can do them. The main mindset trip here is, I'll let Clay speak to that. He had some insight he wanted to share.
I do, but I don't remember what it was.
I'll tell you what it is. Before you go into your open house, the whole point of you doing all of this work and starting on Monday is because you are looking for an appointment. That's what you're doing all of this work for. And so not just getting in the nitty gritty and doing all of the little details that are going to come along, but remembering that you're doing this to pick up clients along the way, right? What?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you're right. For every action that you do, if you get on the phone or you're looking for referrals, you're doing whatever system it is, you have to know what your goal is. What outcome do you want? How do you know you had a good day? How do you know the time is worth it? And a mistake I think a lot of people make in open houses is that they get a lot of people and a lot of people sign in, but you never really build a relationship with somebody. And so you get a bunch of close contact, but that's all it ever ends up being. I think, and the way I did it was like, I'm going to engage somebody until I get an appointment set with them either that night or the next day or the day after that. And then I'll move on to the next one. I don't want to say, hey, how you doing? You don't want to fetch stuff. You want to be really intentional and specific. And you'll figure out if the person you're engaged with if it's going to go down that road, but you have to give it the right amount of time. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of hacks and things that we're going to share with you about how to get people to open up to you.
Yeah.
You're right on the mindset. There's just so many realtors that go into it thinking, I'm here to sell the house for the seller. And that is not the goal. This is a lead generation and lead conversion activity. And you have to go into it with that mindset every single time. So that's really good stuff for sure.
Yeah, handing out your business card is not a win.
No.
Collecting information is.
Yes.
Better. And getting the appointment off the information that you collect, not just giving your business card out to somebody and hoping that they call you. That doesn't work.
I know. Hope's terrible. Yeah.
Okay, can you move to Tuesday? So with the open house system, you guys are going to see there are activities every single day for open house. Intelligence gathering on Tuesday. We put the full packet, pull your MLS sheet, your survey, all of your documents. You've got all of those up front so that you're familiarizing yourself with what's going on. Call the listing agent. Have a conversation with them, not just, hey, can I do an open house for you, but what it is that their sellers love about the house. What trails are they visiting? What neighborhood activities do they absolutely love? What's going on in the neighborhood that could be little gems that you can share with the people that are coming into the open house? Again, it is a lead generating activity. And so the more valuable that you can be to the people that are coming into the open house, the better chances that you build a trust relationship with them and ultimately set that appointment, right? Pull a list of all the expireds and withdrawns in the immediate neighborhood. This is vital that you do this piece of it. The expireds and withdrawns need to be people that you are intentional about knocking on their door, inviting them to the open house, these are hurt people, right? They're wounded. They're upset. They're frustrated. It gives them an opportunity to see how you work before they hire you. So make sure that you're pulling expireds and withdrawns, you're running comps for them, I would absolutely put a packet together. If you're not able to get them at the front door, leave something for them. Make sure that these are people that you already know that they have motivation, right? They're the low-hanging fruit in the neighborhood. Leave a packet of information for them and do everything you can to entice them to that open house.
They'll come down to the open house. We've had many agents get listings and withdrawals, like the withdrawal listings because of this. That right there, that one thing right there is probably the second best bit of the whole thing. It's almost instant money, but you have to do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Script practice, your door knocking invitation. So a lot of people don't like door knocking. Ken mentioned that he doesn't like door knocking. The best part about door knocking around open houses is that it's an invitation, right? You're inviting someone out. You're treating this as if it's an event and that you're getting to know neighbors. And it's super simple. Hey, I'm Leslie with the Byrne Real Estate Group. I'm looking for whatever the seller's name is. I noticed that your home was no longer listed online and I wanted to ask, is it still on the market or have you decided to take it off? That's going to be your expired and withdrawn door knocking. Regular door knocking invitation would be something super simple too. Hey, I'm Leslie with the Byrne Real Estate Group. I'm holding an open house 4 streets over or 4 houses down. I'd love for you to come and visit the open house, see what's going on in your neighborhood. At the same time, I'll give you a quick market update on what things look like. Thank you for catching me at the door or coming to the door, just so that there's this many actives, there's this many pendings, and there's this many solds in your neighborhood as of today. For you to set something play.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And as much as I don't like door knocking, it is a practice that we door knock around the open house, but we haven't done the pull the list of expires and withdrawals in the neighborhood and go do those door knocks. That's a really great tip. That's a good hack right there for sure.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then Wednesday, you are doing an on-site video. Wednesday's a pretty heavy day. It tends to be a pretty low activity day for agents in Texas. And so this is the day where the majority of your open house activities are going to land. Do an on-site video. This is just raw video of the house, and you should be going into every single comparable in the neighborhood. Get videos of those also. You're going to hold on to those. You don't need to do anything with them yet, but make sure that you know everything else that's available in the neighborhood, because when they walk into your 4-bedroom and they need a 5-bedroom, you need to be able to speak intelligently about the 5-bedroom that's down the road that you can show them at 4:30 whenever you're done with your open house. Make note of any extra cleaning, yard maintenance, or light bulb situations. This is a really good hack. You're going in a couple of days before, so you know what you're getting you know what you're getting into, right?
Yeah. So this is important because you have to remember, when you present a house like, this is my business, I'm opened up. Imagine you're at a bazaar in the old days and you're opening up your tent and like you're showing off, right? This is my business. Open house is the same thing. You're going to use leaf blowers to clean off leaves. You want the light bulbs to all be the same color. Like, you want it to be nice and presentable. It's critical. because people are going to be judging you on how you're trying to sell this house.
Mhm.
So if you're an expired listing or a listing or somebody in the neighborhood, they're watching you put the signs out. They're watching you get things ready. They're watching you direct the lawn mower and the leaf blower and all that stuff. They watch all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the more time you spend feathering your nest or whatever it's called, it pays off. And it goes back to that you Inc. What's your standard?
Yeah. The next thing that you're going to do is actually email an invite to your entire CRM. This is a fantastic, this would actually be a really fantastic addition to Ken's protocol. So 2 different emails are going to go out. One is going to be to the people that you know, right? Your sphere list. If you haven't talked to them in a while, say, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. This is where I'm going to be this weekend. I'd love for you to come out and join me, right? These are the open houses that I'm doing this weekend. The other email is going to be to people that you don't know, right? You haven't met. Be honest in this email. I'm actually in a new database for the last month and a half. The most amount of feedback and responses that I got was whenever I sent out a very raw text message and email that said, hey, we haven't had the chance to meet yet, and I'd like to change that. Do something like that, right? This is where I'm going to be this weekend. Come out, visit me. I'd love the chance to just meet you face to face and show you around the neighborhood, right? Film, edit your sneak peek video. So make sure that it is cleaned up and ready to go. And you're going to start pumping out onto all of your social media platforms where you're having the open house, where people can start joining you at that point. Go ahead and get your door knocking flyers, print it out, get everything ready to go. You must include a QR code for your home valuation. If you guys don't have Fellow, you should absolutely look into getting that. It is a fantastic tool, and that QR code gives people the opportunity to scan it really quickly, figure out what their home evaluation is, and it pings you, letting you know that somebody in that neighborhood is looking at their home value.
Do y'all have Fellow in Canada?
Can't get it in Canada.
Okay.
Oh.
Do you have some kind of home valuation tool that you can use?
Nope. No, because our data is so protected here that we have to do it manually. So what we do with our QR codes is our home evaluations essentially are fill in your information. They get an autoresponder that will be in touch. That's the best we can do. Yeah.
Just something really easy for them to engage in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick about the previewing houses. One of the keys to that is that while you're talking to people in your open house, you'll be able to talk about the competition in the neighborhood from a first person perspective, and that's adding value to the conversation.
Right.
Sure.
Right? Oh, I've seen that house. So that house actually has a kick butt kitchen, baker's kitchen. Why don't we go take a look at it after this open house, right? Or something like that.
Can I ask you guys a couple of questions just on your sneak peek videos? First of all, how much are you giving away in that sneak peek video? What are you showing of the house? And then what tips do you have? Because I'm sure you've had people on your team that come in and go, I'm terrible on video. I don't want to be on video.
Right.
Are these just walkthroughs of them just behind the camera, or do you put your agents in front of the camera? How do you do your sneak peek videos, and how long are they too?
Both.
All of the above.
All of the above. Yeah, absolutely. One of the agents on our team, I love, she makes these videos where she doesn't even show the house at all. It's just her in the camera and getting her reaction as she's walking through the house. Things like that. It could be anything. That's not really the point. The point is to get the content out there and the invitation out there. Your whole job and goal here is to get engagement from people.
Yep.
Cool.
Curiosity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. Just whatever they're willing to do.
Yeah.
That's
Push
where
the
it
comfort
lands
zone
for
as
me.
much as you can, but keep them in a bit of a comfort zone.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I know they fight that.
Yeah, 100%. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And then the last thing you're going to do is make sure that you're driving the route that your potential buyers are going to be driving to get there.
Or want them to drive.
Or that you want them to drive. And you're going to see here, we do 20 signs per open house. And that's a bare minimum. If you've got multiple entry points into a neighborhood that are high traffic, it may be more than that. And I have agents tell me all the time, it was right there. There was only a need for 4 signs. The more signage you put out there, the more impressed that people are when they walk in with your signage, right? So doing 3 signs and setting them back a little bit from an intersection gives people the opportunity to be able to move over, change lanes, things like that. But they love it. We get so many compliments on our signage.
And are you using stand-up signs? Are you still using sandwich boards? What do you guys use for signage?
I was looking
Stake in the
around.
ground. Yeah,
Mhm.
just the
Okay.
$10 variety. We have to replace them constantly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But they're logoed and they look good. It just damage and theft and stuff like that happens.
For sure. You put them on city property and the city takes them, all that stuff.
Yeah, we know. You just gotta keep going.
Hey, it's worth it.
Okay, Thursday, ground war. So
We
this
have a
is
bunch of scripts that we can send out too. There's a lot more than what you see here.
Yeah, for sure. We'll ask you for all that stuff at the end. So actually, this is a good time to say this. If you guys want to start asking questions that we can answer at the end, as we're coming up to the half-hour mark here, put them in the chat for the chat box, and we'll start getting to the questions at the very end. But if you want to start loading your questions up and we'll get them at the end, we'd love that. That'd be great.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so this is ground war day. This on Thursday, you're going to be hitting at least 50 homes or 3 streets minimum. The script, again, super easy. I forgot this was on this page, inviting you to choose your new neighbor, right? Super simple. If there is not an answer to the door, we do leave just little note cards that invite them. Handwritten note card that says, I'm holding an open house down the street at 123 ABC Street. Would love to see you. And same thing that you would say in person, just so you know, these are the active, pending, sold, and average days on market in your neighborhood right now. So even with somebody you're not coming in contact with, you're still providing value to them, right? The old business, I can't see it. I cannot read this.
It's all right. It's just the script for expired withdrawns. When you're going to visit the expired withdrawns, we'll be hosting open house. Add a few questions. Actually, this is the wrong script. This is the script for just inviting people to the open house.
To the open house.
Yeah. Put it in the wrong format, people. I'm sorry. We have a whole packet of info we could send you, though.
Yeah, we do. And all of these scripts are relevant, even if like with Ken, you weren't fully active in expireds. You may come across a house. These are super easy, good door knocking scripts that you can just spout off, right? Really quick and easy. Most important, the more often that you recite the active, pending, sold, average days on market, the more familiar you're going to be with it at the open house. You'll be able to share that information like it's nothing whenever you're right there in front of them. So Thursday, that's really it. You can do this first thing in the morning and you're done with open house work for the day. Friday, you're doing social media blasts. So this is where you're really going to start posting your reels and your videos, tag local businesses and groups in this, right? So if here, people are really concerned about like where the closest doctor's office is, where the grocery store is, where just like all the common things, just start tagging people, tagging businesses that are local to that neighborhood in there. And then the kit. I would tell all agents you should have all these things in your car all the time, no matter what happens. But a leaf blower is highly recommended. I know it's a little bit of an investment, guys, but it is a fantastic tool to have with you all of the time. Rubber mallet for your signs, Clorox wipes, toilet paper, broom, and paper towels. Clay gave me one of the best pieces of advice I don't think he was meaning to advise me around this, but he told me a story about using a leaf blower on the inside of a house one time. Y'all, anytime somebody has pets, I open up the back door and I blow the house out. It's right before the open house.
Gotta be done.
Super simple. Yeah. It's fantastic. And then map review. Make sure, double check that your sign placement plan is on point, because this is you're out there like You went back out there on Thursday. So Friday, just check your plan, make sure that you're good to go with where all those need to be.
We have, real quick, we have one of our agents, because we have hard earth. We don't get a lot of rain, and it's Rocky. His name is Rocky.
Yeah.
He uses a drill and then puts the little stake signs in the hole there, and it saves him a ton of time. So that's another hack that after 28 years, I just learned this year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. We got what? Yeah, we're good.
Got lost.
Okay. One of my favorite things in open houses, we're going to go through some of the execution before, but I'm too excited, so I have to talk about this. I like to stand outside the house and welcome people in, or stand at the door and just shake their hand, tell them hello, I'm Clay Byrne or whoever, come on in. And it's really disarming. Like, people at first are like, what are you doing out here, freako? But then they see how nice you are and professional you are, and then come on in. And, oh, by the way, don't forget to check out the garden bath or whatever one of the highlights is in the house. And then you just let them enter the house, and they're disarmed, and they're like, that person's really friendly. I've gotten so much engagement from just being a Walmart greeter at an open house. Then you go back in and you go do your thing, but you just make people feel happy and like they're about to have a nice experience in a nice house. That's my interruption for the moment.
That's good. Enthusiasm is like a lost art. I think a lot of agents are too cool for school. Like, they just sit back and, hey, come in, do your thing. Like, we can talk if you want to or not. People like to be. This morning before our meeting, as the agents were coming in, I was opening the door for them and ushering them in. And it puts like the biggest smile on somebody's face whenever you go a little bit above and beyond, right? Just to make them feel special and like you're excited to see them. So there's a life tip. Okay, Saturday, game day. This is the day where like your mindset has to be straight, right? You absolutely want to make sure that what you're thinking about is getting a client today. That's what you're interested in. You're looking for the triggers and the red flags to make sure that you're on point. You're going to be out putting signs out. It's okay to talk to the neighbors while they're walking by. You may pick up a client that way. That has happened to us multiple times, right? Nobody came through the open house, but I picked up a client on the corner of such and such. So you're putting all of your signs out that morning. You're not actually going to hold the open house until later in the day, but that sign, all that traffic going through there. So you do want to make sure that you put a sign in front of the house of the actual time so that you don't have people just walking up there. 12:30, you're arriving for a 1 o'clock open house. You're going to be there a little bit early. You want to make sure that it looks good and that it smells good. Okay. That's super important. People are really sensitive to scent. So leaf blow everything in the front. It should be like picture day all over again. Turn all of the lights on in the house. Make sure the AC is on or the heater, depending on where you're at. And then place those QR codes. You can place the QR codes wherever you want to. But what we have found to be the most valuable places, Clay put kitchen on here. I don't do the kitchen anymore. I do the primary bath, and I'll usually do like the front door. Kitchen is always just a nice go-to, but I have found that more people will scan that QR code when they're in the primary bathroom alone than they will anywhere else. And right here, we were going to talk a little bit about gathering information from people. Our agents do it in a multitude of different ways. Some people are going to be happy to get in that primary bathroom alone and scan it, and you've got their information and it's no big deal. That's not the situation with a lot of people that are coming through your open house, right? They're not prepared to sign anything. They don't want to. They don't feel like they know you well enough to be handing out their information, which is fair. So instead of getting frustrated about it or whatever, it really needs to be, how do we navigate this relationship quickly enough to get their information? So a couple of ways that we have found that work really well is feedback forms are fantastic. Handing a feedback form to your open house attendees and saying, hey, would you mind, just on a clipboard, would you mind filling this out as you're walking through the house? We'd love your feedback on the property. And in that feedback form is a place for them to fill out their information. My favorite way to gather information is prompting people to ask questions. And that means that the second they say, like, how old is the deck? I say, that's a really fantastic question. I've got all the information on the deck I can send over to you. What's the best contact information for me to send that to? I do not carry business cards with me. In fact, the same business cards that Clay ordered for me almost 7 years ago are still sitting in a drawer in the other room. I learned very quickly that if I have the default to give to someone, I will. If I don't, and I know that my job is to gather the information, then I will work to get that information. That just depends on you. But honestly, it's so easy to just give your information out and not get anything in return
Don't be
for
lazy.
it. So, do you have anything that you would add on that?
No, the knucklehead stance for me on that is just don't be lazy, right? You're there, you put all that work into it, keep pushing through to get the information, find ways to get it.
For sure. And I love the feedback form idea. That's what we do too. I'm not a believer myself in having people register for an open house, because who's going to give you their info for free? There's got to be a trade-off. If for us, same thing, it's feedback forms. It's look, and I do this at the greeting, the seller has asked us to get feedback on what you think of their house, so that if there's anything we can make changes to, or pricing or things like that. It helps us sell the house. And so the seller has asked me to do that.
Yeah.
At the end, I'm going to ask you to fill out a feedback form. Do you mind doing that? And then you've set the obligation at the very beginning, so that at the end, when they walk past you, because you're going to be set up as they walk past you, they'll fill it out. They will. And then if you put in the option for them to put their information in, 9 times out of 10, they do.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I do want to say one quick thing here. So the chat, if you want to ask questions, ask it in the Q&A. You'll see a little question mark up at the top of your screen. Click in there and ask your questions there. We've got one question in there. You can't ask in the chat. It has to be in the Q&A, just because of the restrictions on the webinar style of Google Meet. So if you want to ask your questions, toss them in there. We've got one question waiting. I think a second one. Actually, we've got a second question too. So we've got a couple coming in. So just use that Q&A section if you want to ask questions.
I just found that's you. I was today years old when I learned about that. Good job, Ken.
All right. Okay, moving on.
One last tip around that is that we do gather all of the off-market properties that we can find. And so if no one asks questions, or you are having a really hard time trying to get somebody's information, the off-market line works almost every single time as a fallback. So I've got to make sure you come and see me before you walk out. I've got a list of off-market properties I'd love to share with you. And that way it gives you something to follow up with them about and to give to them before they leave, right? Some way to provide value.
Awesome. Good stuff.
LP Mama. This is my, and it probably should be everybody's favorite script. Super easy to remember. And we'll send this out to you guys if you haven't ever seen this. So figuring out someone's location when you're at an open house, you have a pretty good idea of where they're looking, right? So just verifying with them, is this the neighborhood that you're really interested in? Have you looked at other neighborhoods? Is this within your budget? Motivation, why they're moving. This is where I spend the majority of my time, is figuring out motivation and what's actually going on with them, what their goals actually are. And then agent. This is Clay's famous line here of who's helping you navigate.
Guiding you through the process. Yep.
Yeah, guiding you. Who's guiding you through the process? And then figuring out if they have already gotten a pre-approval or if they're going to be paying cash. And if not, make sure that you have lender information handy to be able to connect them with someone. That's another really good way to bring value to the table in a short conversation. And last but not least, appointment. This is why you are here. Right? Setting an appointment, it should be your mindset going in on Monday. It should be a focus for you on Saturday morning. But don't forget, don't get through all of this. When we see this happen all of the time, get through this entire week. You've gotten through this entire day and through this conversation with this person, and then you let them walk out the door. when they are probably more than ready for you to ask to meet with them on Tuesday at 2 or Thursday at 4, right? So most important part is nailing down a time that is going to work for them and for you to sit down for 15 or 20 minutes to really dive in to what it is that they're looking for and how you can best serve them and make these goals happen, these dreams happen for them. Ask for business.
That was a very compressed version or explanation of the whole thing, but I think you did a pretty good job.
Awesome.
It is a primary business function though. If you do open houses, we have people that do them on Thursday evenings, Tuesday at lunch. You can do them. There's never a downtime to do them. If you think about a builder's open house, I don't know what it's like in Canada, but here these things are open like 24/7.
Yeah.
The more your doors open, the more you can meet people.
Yeah.
And the name of the game is to meet people.
100%. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, this is all really good stuff. So we've got some questions coming in. You guys ready for questions? Do you have more slides or where are we at here?
No, again, this is ask for business and it's the name of the game, right? You just set the appointment. There are a common way to string together if you get leads is to actually send a video when you're closing up the open house. Just, hey, it's Tanya from wherever you're from the open house. Thanks for coming by the open house. I look forward to connecting with you. And then you have a video text. There's a really high conversion ratio related to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is another.
I think that's in there.
Did you say that?
I didn't say that. I may have skipped over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I love about this is how it's packaged out as an entire lead generation strategy. And I think that's the mind shift that a lot of people need to make with open houses. Like most, like you mentioned at the top, most agents just see it as a secondary way. Oh yeah, I got an open house on Saturday. I got to rip through it. I'll get it done and then I'll move on. But it really is a strategy that you have to commit to. And it's like anything, if you believe it, it will work, but you got to commit. And this is something like it's packaged up to commit, which is great. And I love that. So we do have some questions. I want to roll through those if that's okay. So we have a question. Do you guys hire a company to put your signs out? To put 20 signs out before the open house seems like a lot. Trying to dodge traffic, that's a terrible start to my day. LOL. So do you guys do signs yourself or do you have somebody go out and put your signs up for you?
We do them ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You can probably hire a company, but
you probably could, but like I just said, it does give you an opportunity to get your boots on the ground and have the opportunity to meet people while you're out there. Now we are having to ask for permission to put it in someone's yard and walking up to the door and having conversations with people. And I know it sounds like it takes a really long time. It's less than an hour to do that. And like full transparency, it's like yoga pants, ponytail, go do the thing, go home, shower, and come back.
Got it. Yeah. Again, part of the strategy, right? Like you've got to think of this as a system. And if you're building lead generation pillars into your business, this is a lead generation pillar. And if you're going to call it that and do them, you have to commit to the pillar. And do it.
To it. But man, but nobody else will do it. So if you do it at a high level like this, you'll be the only one in your neighborhood that's dominating open houses, getting all the buyers, getting all the sellers.
Yeah.
Like you want to go from 0 to 250 grand in a year, just go do this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just go do this and then build up your pipeline and then build up your sphere. I'm telling you it's unbelievable how simple it is. But just make it your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Make it a pillar. So you mentioned video text right afterwards. How quickly after your open house are you following up with all the leads? What's your timeline?
Immediately. Yeah. The second, like before you leave the house.
Yeah. You're shutting it down.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, it was great.
Hey, I'm shutting the lights off on the house. You just
want to come back?
Cool. Okay. Next question. What are the top agents doing differently at open houses for you guys that actually converts visitors into clients?
Asking for business. So that just like right there while you're there, figure out what's going on with them. What brought you in today, right? There's usually only two types of people that visit open houses. Either you're a neighbor and you're checking out what's going on. And if they are, then figure out why they're checking out what's going on, right? What's going on with them? Have you had thoughts of selling? Are you thinking about renovating? Are you thinking about, right? All of the millions of questions that you could ask, or somebody that's actively searching for a home in the neighborhood, right? Either way, the guy that's down the street and thinking about renovations, hey, you know what? I don't mind doing this at all. I can pop by there at 4:15. I'd love to take a look at your home, see what you have going on. I'll give you some recommendations on renovations that'll help increase the value of the home. And right, you ask for the business, right? If 4:15 doesn't work for you, I can come back out tomorrow at 2. Just make the appointment, ask for the business, be valuable.
Cool. Okay. Next question. Any tips for safety? Do you guys have safety protocols for your open houses for people? Anything like that?
Trust your gut. I think that there is just being a woman in an open house there. If you have a weird feeling about something, it's okay for you to shut it down. We've had weird situations happen where Clay and I both advise the agent to shut it down. Just like, you're done for the day. But rarely do things get to that point. That's going to be a pretty rare situation. Outside of that, make sure that you have the lights on. It's totally fine to leave all the doors open. And we're in
Or you
Texas.
can do it with a partner. But if you're continually worried about it, probably just don't do open houses.
Right. That's right.
Or bring a mortgage specialist with you too, somebody that can mutual benefit, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
By and large, most people remember to remind sellers to put your prescription drugs in your jewelry, stash it and hide it, because people are cruising houses for stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Love the idea of the clipboard to fill out the feedback survey. What questions are you asking, and how many questions do you have?
We have questions around price point, around condition, and that's basically it. How do you feel like the price range, or how do you feel like the price measures up? Is it low, medium, just right, or low, high, or just? And then condition. We also have a smell question on there. I have a list. I can send it to Clay.
Awesome. That'd be great if you could send that over. We would love that.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you guys have, and this is a question for me because we're big on this at open houses, is strategically setting yourself up in the house? Do you guys have a system inside the house of how you set up, where you set up? Do you have a strategy around that?
Oh, let me get the banner while you're talking about that.
I think it really just depends on the particular home. Most of the time we will navigate towards the kitchen area. Right. But for the most part, we don't really sit down or set up shop anywhere. It's a lot of walking around the home, seeing if they have any questions, depending on how many open house attendees we have. This year, open houses have been either there's one person after another coming in. And so it's not like a sit down and wait for people to come in, or there's quite a few people there at one time. And then this is our open house banner.
Yeah, I don't know if you can't see it, but we have we'll put little conversational pieces up. We have this you can get these made on Canva. Here's our mortgage one. We have a say yes to savings, because we bundle and save with mortgage and we helping you buy a house. We have a 7-step buyer process consultation. A love or leave it. We have the Byrne buyer guarantee, but you set it up and it's just it says at the very top, who's helping you navigate this market. So it's like a place for people to naturally congregate and visit with you. It's just one thing you can try.
Got it. No, that stuff looks really good. So where are you putting that banner that you got in the background there? Where does that go?
Dining room, kitchen, living room. Every house has a natural meeting place, I think. You just have to identify it when you get in there.
Cool.
I'm interested to know, Ken, though, what do y'all do?
Yeah. So for me, your guys' system ahead of the open house is amazing. Love that. It's way better than what we're doing in the house. What I like to do is I want to make sure that we do bring in things that people can thumb through, and we do have some takeaways, and we do feedback forms, but we don't have questions on them. It's just open, but I'm going to steal that and start asking those pointed questions. I want to set up in the house because if there are a bunch of people in the house, I don't want to be following one person around while there's other people in other parts of the house. So I try and set myself up where you can't come into the house without passing by me, and I'm going to greet you at the door. You can't come into the house without passing by me, but you also can't leave the house without passing by me. I'm going to prepare you for our feedback form at the end by talking to you at the beginning and establishing some rapport with the relationship. And then I'm in a position where I can be having 3 or 4 conversations with people as they're coming out of the house, as they're funneling through the house if it's really busy, because I'm just in a position that I can catch people. And if they're trying to walk by and sneak by to get out the door and put their shoes on, I'm like, oh, remember you said you were going to fill out that feedback form? Here it is. Do you mind filling that out? Then they're stuck. They're talking to me. And even if I'm having a conversation with one person, I've got 2 clipboards going at all times. And so now one person's here. I'm like, so what did you think? Can you tell me? Well, I don't know what to write. Oh, talk to me about what you think of the size and the price and the condition and all that stuff. And then you're having 2 conversations. And then people, when they're stopped down, I usually have the comps sitting there, but I only have 1 package of them, and they'll start thumbing through them. So it's the same philosophy as you guys. And they'll say, can I take this? I'm like, no, it's my only copy, but I'm more than happy to send you a version. If you don't mind putting down your email and your phone number, I'll zip that off to you right now. The same idea. But I like to be strategically set up in the house that so I can be in one place. You can't come in the door without passing by me. Can't leave the house without passing by me. And then I can talk to everybody as they're coming through and I don't miss anybody. And I'm not chasing people around the house.
Yeah.
That's how I do
That's great.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to do it a little bit differently. And just you figure out something that works for you.
For sure. 100%. Yeah, you
I'll
got to
tell
be
you.
authentic, right? It's about principles and values and authenticity. And you've got to
Yeah.
do what feels right to you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Consistently.
Yeah. 100%.
Consistently,
Because
yeah.
if you believe it, it will work. Everything works if you believe it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. We have another question that came in here. What's the benchmark on what a successful open house looks like in terms of the volume of groups coming through in a 3-hour period? Also, 2 or 3 hour open houses. What do you suggest?
I'm going to say if you got a client off of an open house, that's what counts, right? I've held open houses where I've had 75 people come through and I didn't get any clients from it. And then I've had open houses where I've had 1 person come through it and I got a client out of it. So the volume of people that come through, obviously, the more foot traffic you have, the more opportunity you're creating for yourself. But ultimately, did you make an appointment with somebody? If not at the open house, did you make an appointment with somebody that week? Because remember, you're doing social media, you're having conversations, you're DMing people, you're sending out emails, inviting people. You've got a lot of different lead generating avenues going that should be causing you to set an appointment, because the open house is just the event. Again, you're not trying to sell that particular house. You're trying to generate leads from the open house. So even if no one comes into your open house and you met a neighbor, you got an appointment with an expired, you talked to people, you were DMing people that viewed some of your social media, and you're starting conversations that way. It should not all be happening at the open house. It should be happening all week long.
One thing real quick as we're wrapping this up, when you get done with the open house, make sure if it's not your listing that you're updating the listing agent on everything that happened right away. The seller wants to know what's going on in their house. Update your seller too. It's critical that you're all working this together. You're getting feedback, you're letting them know about the price point, everything. It's very valuable information that you need to be sharing with everybody that's involved.
Yeah, totally. Really good. Another question just came in from somebody. Do you ever do open houses at apartment style condominiums where you have a security door?
Hard to get access. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little different. Yeah. But you do them.
And how do you bypass the security door? What's your guys' strategy for that? Best practice?
Tuck and roll. Just kidding.
Most of the time we put a Post-it note or a business card right there that says, please text or call for code.
Yeah, whatever the protocol is to get in.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all part of your pre-prep.
The thing about that, if you're thinking about where you want to do open houses, do it in your flight path, where you're going to be every day of your life, where you spend most of your time, or whatever neighborhood you want to get into, or pull up the MLS and look at like where the most pendings are and go sit in one that's still available in that area, because that's where all the buyers are.
Yeah.
Be strategic about it.
Yeah, what we didn't talk about today, and this is probably the most important part of an open house, is that you're not leaving the neighborhood. You're not one and doneing, right? You plan to do open houses in this neighborhood for the next 30 or 60 days. You're staying there, right? You're not just turning it over, right? So that truly gives those expireds an opportunity to see how diligent you are, right? Their agent probably didn't do things the way that you did. It gives all the neighbors the opportunity to really get to know you and to come out to the open house and talk with you. You're giving market updates every single time you update, every single time you door knock with every person that you talk to, right? You're getting new market updates every week or every other week.
So really geographic farming and open housing all in one.
Yes.
Yeah. No, good tip. Great tip. Okay. Any more questions come in from anybody? Any other questions you guys want to ask? This has been awesome. And I appreciate you guys very much for hopping on today. Some super great nuggets in there. I'm going to steal a few of them if you guys don't mind. And I'll report back on how they work up here. But I think that was super valuable. Now, if people want to talk to you and ask you guys more questions, how do we get a hold of you?
No, I just closed it. Just ping us on that QR code.
Great.
Yeah, you want to stick it back up there. That's perfect.
Awesome. And what's on for the rest of your guys' day now? You get to take the day off because you guys just spent yourselves doing a webinar?
Now we got to do our jobs. We got to go lead gen.
Wednesday. It's Wednesday on the sheet there. Aren't you going out doing video and all that kind of stuff for your open houses this weekend?
Busted. That's the agent's jobs. Yeah.
Okay. Clay, Byrne, Leslie Estes, thank you so much for joining us from the Byrne Real Estate Group in Austin, Texas. We appreciate it very much. We are going to make the replay of this available a little bit later this afternoon. And I just want to thank you guys again so much for coming out today.
Ken,
Awesome.
thank you.
Yeah.
This was amazing. And for last week.
See you again.
Awesome. Okay, guys, have a fantastic day.
See ya. Thank you.
I followed up with a client for 7 years and made 8 transactions from one open house. Here's how it happened.
So I did an open house in Lakeway one time, and this couple came out from in town Austin and looked around, and I got their information. I followed up with them, no kidding, for 7 years. 7 years. And finally, they still live in the same house. They never moved, but they referred Mrs. Scheffelbein across the street to me. And this is it was a $600,000 house at the time in a high demand area. I listed her house for sale. I did open houses there, and I met a couple that was looking for a house in that neighborhood. But the one I was in, it had just sold. So I had to go find them a house. And this is where I learned the line, who's helping you, who's guiding you through the process. I'll never forget it. So it ended up being like 8 transactions from one open house, but I had to follow up with the person for 7 years before that triggered.
How do you know if you had a good day at an open house? Here's the mindset you need.
Every action that you do, if you get on the phone or you're looking for referrals, you're doing whatever system it is, you have to know what your goal is. What outcome do you want? How do you know you had a good day? How do you know the time is worth it? You're going to use leaf blowers to clean off leaves. You want the light bulbs to all be the same color. You want it to be nice and presentable. It's critical because people are going to be judging you on how you're trying to sell this house.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're an expired listing or a listing or somebody in the neighborhood, they're watching you put the signs out. They're watching you get things ready. They're watching you direct the lawn mower and the leaf blower and all that stuff. All right. We got what? Yeah, we're good.
Got lost.
Okay. One of my favorite things in open houses, we're going to go through some of the execution before, but I'm too excited, so I have to talk about this. I like to stand outside the house and welcome people in, or stand at the door and just shake their hand, tell them hello, I'm Clay Byrne or whoever, come on in. And it's really disarming. Like people at first are like, what are you doing out here, freako? But then they see how nice you are and professional you are, and they come on in and, oh, by the way, don't forget to check out the garden bath or whatever one of the highlights is in the house. And then you just let them enter the house and they're disarmed and they're like, that person's really friendly. I've gotten so much engagement from just being a Walmart greeter at an open house. Then you go back in and you go do your thing, but you just make people feel happy and
ask for business.
That was a very compressed version or explanation of the whole thing, but I think you did a pretty good job.
Awesome.
It is a primary business function though. If you do open houses, we have people that do them on Thursday evenings, Tuesday at lunch. You can do them. There's never a downtime to do them. If you think about a builder's open house, I don't know what it's like in Canada, but here these things are open like 24/7.
Yeah.
The more your doors open, the more you can meet people.
Yeah.
And the name of the game is to meet people.
100%. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, this is all really good stuff. So we've got some questions coming in. You guys ready for questions? Do you have more slides or where are we at here?
No, again, this is ask for business, and it's the name of the game, right? You just set the appointment. There are a common way to string together if you get leads is to actually send a video when you're closing up the open house. Just, hey, it's Tanya from wherever you're from the open house. Thanks for coming by the open house. I look forward to connecting with you. And then you have a video text. There's a really high conversion ratio related to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just another.
I think that's in there.
Did you say that?
I didn't say that.
Do you guys have a system inside the house of how you set up, where you set up? Do you have a strategy around that?
Oh, let me get the banner while you're talking about that.
I think it really just depends on the particular home. Most of the time we will navigate towards the kitchen area, right. But for the most part, we don't really sit down or set up shop anywhere. It's a lot of walking around the home, seeing if they have any questions, depending on how many open house attendees we have. This year, open houses have been either there's one person after another coming in. And so it's not like a sit down and wait for people to come in, or there's quite a few people there at one time. And then this is our open house banner.
Yeah, I don't know if you can't see it, but we have a couple of, we'll put little like conversational pieces up. Like we have this little, you can get these made on Canva. Here's our mortgage one. We have a say yes to savings because we bundle and save with mortgage and we helping you buy a house. We have a 7-step buyer process consultation. A love or leave it. We have the Byrne buyer guarantee, but you set it up and it's just like it says at the very top, who's helping you navigate this market. So it's like a place for people to naturally congregate and visit with you. It's just one thing you can try.
Got it. No, that stuff looks really good. So
most of the time we put a Post-it note or a business card right there that says, please text or call for code.
Yeah, whatever the protocol is to get in.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all part of your pre-prep.
The thing about that, if you're thinking about where you want to do open houses, do it in your flight path, where you're going to be every day of your life, where you spend most of your time, or whatever neighborhood you want to get into, or pull up the MLS and look at like where the most pendings are and go sit in one that's still available in that area, because that's where all the buyers are.
Yeah.
Be strategic about it.
Yeah. What we didn't talk about today, and this is probably the most important part of an open house, is that you're not leaving the neighborhood. You're not one and doneing, right? You plan to do open houses in this neighborhood for the next 30 or 60 days. You're staying there, right? You're not just turning it over.